Hello, everyone. I'm Crystal Cruz. Thanks for joining us tonight here on NewsWest 9 at 10. The votes are in for tonight's primary elections, and let me tell you, there are some tight results. We'll start off with the Midland County judge race, where two candidates were only 31 votes apart. And this one looks to be going to a runoff. Jay Marquez and Karen Hood both got 34% of the vote. Marquez coming out ahead with just 31 votes more than Hood. Incumbent Terry Johnson not far behind with 32%. Now, since no one won more than half of the vote, there will definitely be a runoff between the top two candidates. Right now, that's looking like Marquez and Karen Hood. Sydney Jolivet joins us live in Midland. She talked to both of them about this race. Sydney.
All right, thanks, Crystal. I am joined by one of the two final candidates here, Jay Marquez. Talk to me, Jay. What did it feel like for those candidates to go from 3 to 2? It might seem small to some people, but no small feat at all.
Well, it is not a small feat at all whatsoever. It's obviously concerning, right, when you start seeing these numbers. But again, let's turn this around and let's look at the vision of our county and the vision of the race also. And so we're not willing to change anything that we've planned before. We're going to keep our plan. We're going to keep our roadmap to success, and we're just going to continue doing what we're doing, and let's do it to the winning point.
Awesome. And so the difference between you and candidate Karen Hood was 31 votes. What does that mean to you? Because that's a little close.
That is very close, and let me tell you, I do want to congratulate her for doing that. But you know, that tells me a lot. That tells me that we have some work to be done, and let's do it, and let's go win this very quickly.
Awesome. And so between now and the next election, is there anything changing, or are you going to keep on with the same mission and vision that you've had so far?
There is nothing that's going to change. I meant what I said when I first started with the mapping, with the planning, and so no, there's nothing that's going to change just because of the outcome of tonight's battle, I guess, if you would. We're just going to have to go and work at it, continue working at it just as we have before, and win it.
Awesome. Well, I want to say congratulations and good luck in that runoff election. And I actually spoke with Karen Hood earlier today, so let's take a look at what she had to say about her experience. All right, everyone, Sydney Jolivet with NewsWest 9. I'm joined with Karen Hood, and she is officially one of the two candidates that will be going to the runoff election. First question for you, Karen. How does that feel to hear officially you've made it to the next step?
Well, it feels feels good. I tell you, I'm thankful, I'm grateful to get where I got today, and I'm blessed for all the people that have supported me. I figured it would be a tight race all the way to the end, and that's what happened, but we're very pleased with how things turned out.
Awesome. And so talk to me about some of your key points that you were really endorsing on and really saying that you wanted to work on when it came to your race for Midland County Judge.
Well, I have always, well, not always, but for a long time felt like there were just things going on. One of the main things that really concerned me was the debt that the county is in now under the current judge's administration. It takes a whole commissioner's court, but it was under him. Those are very concerning to me. You know, I want to learn more about the water issues. That is a very complex issue that everybody I talk to has something else to say about it. But I'm excited and I'm ready. And, you know, I want to congratulate Jay. Congratulations, Jay.
Perfect. And so now going forward to that runoff election, is there anything that you might change going forward? Or are you kind of just sticking to your same message and mission as we go into that next election?
Well, my mission may look a little bit different going into the runoff, since there's only going to be two of us now. You know, I'm going to look to see the areas of voting that Jay got higher than me, and, you know, try to work those areas and just try to meet more people and hear what they have to say.
Perfect. Anything else you'd like to add or say?
No, I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for my family who's here and my friends. Y'all come on. I'm thankful, and I had a great team working with me, and I'm thankful for each and every one of them, and for the community for voting for me.
Perfect. Well, congratulations, and thank you for your time. And thank you for tuning into News West 9, your election headquarters. Be sure to stay with us. We have plenty of more results coming later on tonight. Reporting in Midland, I'm Sydney Jolivet, News West 9. Back to you in studio, Crystal.
All right, well, let's stay in Midland County, where voters in Precinct 2 were deciding who will serve as their county commissioner. Republicans Brian Carney and Joe Waters were facing off in a winner-take-all race, with incumbent Jeff Summers not running and no Democratic opponent. Whoever wins takes the seat. Now, this is a super tight one. Brian Carney took in 51% of the vote, Joe Waters 49%. Carney got 131 votes more. Since he got more than 50% of the vote, he technically wins the seat, but again, you know, it could go to a runoff. Now let's move over to Precinct 4 right here, where we are looking at yet another runoff race. Incumbent Diane Anderson was looking to hold on to her seat. She came in with 37% of the vote. Challenger Lance Friday brought in 40%. 108 votes more than Anderson. And Don Woody Woodward got 23% of the vote. Again, the top vote getters here, Anderson and Friday, will be looking at hitting the campaign trail again. We're moving now to the Ector County Judges race. Incumbent Dustin Fawcett easily taking the Republican primary. Justin Fawcett is way ahead. It's not final yet, but he has 88% of the vote right now. His challenger, Sunil Mehta, bringing in 12% of the vote. Since no Democratic challenger in November, Fawcett looks to be serving another term. Stephen Pepper joins us live with his reaction. Stephen.
Crystal, the party is winding down here as this race was decided early. Judge Fawcett has been joined by friends, family, and city officials celebrating what they believe is a comfortable re-election victory. Here's his instant reaction. Take a listen.
I'm excited. It's a good thing. It's a good sign. We felt like we've had a pulse on our community for the past 3.5 years. To have that strong of support, an 88% number, shows that they support what we do. That's a mandate. That's a strong mandate. And that means that they believe in our program. They believe in everything that we've been taking action on. And it's an exciting day. I'm proud of our voters. I'm proud of our team. And it's a good night.
Again, these are just the initial tallies, but all signs point to your re-election. Why do you believe the majority of voters said, this is my judge once again?
I think because they believe in what we've been doing. We've offered up solutions. The Office of County Judge is about solving problems. It's about addressing infrastructure. And they believe that we've made very hard and challenging decisions, but we've made the right decisions. And we always do the right thing, regardless of political ramifications. And it's been a long time coming. Odessans believe in themselves. They believe in us. They believe in our team. And I believe in them, too. And this is an exciting day.
Last question for you, sir. You said you decided to run for re-election because there's so much left to do in the county. I don't know how far you thought ahead of your second term, but can you preview to Ector County what that would look like?
Yeah, so we got to finish the courthouse, the juvenile justice facility, the cemetery, and our volunteer fire department. Those are all projects that are in construction right now. We have some other work on some assets as well. We are in an infrastructure deficit. We are behind on our infrastructure, so we still need to address many of those things. But really now it's fine-tuning things, and it's going after some grant funds for some additional things inside Ector County. So we've got a lot of plans. It's now putting our strategic plans that we've commenced, put them into action. And so we've got a lot of work to do, and I think in 4 years we're going to be pleasantly surprised by how much more we've achieved, yet still respecting taxpayers' funds.
And a reminder, there are no Democrats in this race tonight, meaning Judge Fawcett will likely begin his second term in January. Guys?
Well, now to more elections. It looks like we'll have to wait and see who the next Ector County Commissioner for Precinct 2 will be. There were 5 names on the ballot and no Democrats running. Let's take a look at the results. Grayson Hankins is leading with 36% of the vote, followed by Richard Pierce and Jason Payne with 19%. Payne just has 8 more votes than Pierce. Don Stringer brought in 18%. No one got more than the 50% of the vote. That means the top 2 vote getters will face off in a runoff for election. Right now, again, Hankins is in the lead, but that 8 vote difference may change who is in the runoff. And over in Ector County Precinct 4, a familiar face is in the lead. Incumbent Bill Hall coming in with 59% of the vote. Marty Slayton picked up 41%. No one again running on the Democratic ticket, so this will determine the winner. The spot for Ector County Treasurer was on the line tonight. Incumbent Cleopatra Callaway losing this one with 35%. Her Republican challenger, Amanda Prieto Snyder, now at 65%. No Democrats running in November. And incumbent Abigail Lopez was unable to hang on to her seat as Howard County Treasurer. She came in with 31%. Her challenger, Margie Hamby, won 69% of the vote. Again, no Democrats running in November, so Hamby looks to be the treasurer until 2030. Well, coming up, results are still coming in for the highly anticipated races for governor and Senate. Plus, will Representative Tony Gonzalez be able to defend his spot on Capitol Hill? Find out after the break. Well, there's some extra drama tonight in the primaries, and it's not just tight races. Some people in Dallas County and Williamson County in Central Texas were turned away from the polls. Now, it was all because of voter confusion. For example, hundreds of voters in the Dallas area were turned away because of new Election Day precinct rules. In the past, just like we can here in West Texas, voters could cast their ballots at any vote center in the Dallas County area, but a Republican-led initiative changed the rules. Now it's back to the old way. Voters must cast their ballots in their own precinct. Congresswoman and Democrat Senator candidate Jasmine Crockett calls it voter suppression.
While many people were showing up to the polling locations, they were told things such as, you can't provide a provisional ballot. Now that is exactly when you would provide a provisional ballot. I am here to say that it is wrong for it to be done to anyone, a Democrat or a Republican.
Well, a Dallas County judge ordered polls in the Democratic primary to stay open for another 2 hours until 9 p.m., which could push back when statewide results are finalized. We're keeping a close eye on statewide elections, and it looks like Governor Greg Abbott is remaining in the running for governor in November. Governor Abbott clearly ahead of the 10 other candidates for the state's top job. He's the projected winner. He's been the governor since 2015 and is seeking his 4th term. Let's take a look at who you might be facing in November. State Representative Gina Hinojosa is the projected to secure the Democratic nomination after being the clear front runner throughout the primary. The Republican Senate race is one to watch tonight. Incumbent Senator John Cornyn is seeking a 5th term, but he's facing some heavy opposition with the likes of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and Congressman Wesley Hunt. Now remember, if no one gets 50% of the vote, the top 2 candidates head off to a runoff, and the latest numbers tell us this race could be heading into a runoff. Incumbent John Cornyn garnering 42% of the vote so far. Ken Paxton not far behind. Or John Cornyn, it says they're 43%, 41% Ken Paxton, and Wesley Hunt, they're with 13%. Well, now to one of the most talked about races on the Democratic side, the battle for U.S. Senate. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and State Representative James Tallarico facing off. Both candidates built a strong following, and tonight Democratic voters are deciding who will take the fight into November. Right now, here's what the results look like. James Tallarico with a slight edge over Congresswoman Crockett. Tallarico is sitting at with just over 50%, with Crockett close behind at 49%. And Tallarico is doing well in areas with a high number of Latino voters, and Crockett is doing well in areas with a large number of black voters. Again, the polls stayed open 2 hours later in Dallas and Williamson County because of voter confusion over polling places, so that is delaying these results. The race for Texas's 23rd congressional district is getting tight. Incumbent Tony Gonzalez holding a very narrow lead against Brandon Herrera for the Republican nomination. Now, in the last election between those two, Herrera lost by only about 400 votes in a runoff, and it may happen again. Let's take a look at the current numbers right now. Tony Gonzalez is holding on to around 44% of the votes, while Herrera is coming in at 40%. That's only a couple of thousand votes between them, and a little over half the votes are in. Barton and Canesco are getting about 8 and 6% respectively. Now let's check out the Democratic ticket. Katie Padilla Stout from San Antonio is leading with more than 50% of the vote, with Santos Limon also from San Antonio behind at 23%. Bruce Richardson from Alpine, Texas is earning around 12% of the vote. Now over to District 19, where surprisingly one of the 7 candidates is pulling out a majority of the vote, and he's not the incumbent. Let's check out the results so far. Tom Sell from Lubbock is leading with just more than 40% of the votes, followed by Matt Smith with around 20%. Over 60% of the votes have come in for this race, so it looks like Tom Sell may pull away with the Republican nomination. Tonight's results for the Democratic primary in District 11 will decide which Republican will face Congress, or who will face Republican Congressman August Pfluger. And so far, Democrat Claire Williams Reynolds is pulling ahead with most of the vote there. She has 57% of the vote. Pedro Ruiz with 43%. Now again, Midland native Pedro Ruiz is from Midland. He's not too far behind there, so we'll keep an eye on that one for you. Well, a pretty crowded race for Pecos County Judge Joe Schuster, not on the ballot, not running for re-election. So 5 candidates are in the running for this seat. Let's see who secured the Republican nomination. Well, Rami Ramos is projected to win tonight's primary with 52% of the vote. Lee Daggett not far behind with 36%. Emily Fetri Natividad there with 13%. So the winner tonight will face the Democratic nominee. And it looks like Santiago Cantu Jr. has secured that Democrat nomination, beating Kirby Warnock in a landslide at more than 75% of the vote. So come November, Cantu and Ramos will be the final candidates for Pecos County Judge. Now let's shift over to some more statewide results, starting with Lieutenant Governor, which is the president of the state Senate and one of the top lawmakers in the state. Incumbent Dan Patrick will secure the Republican nomination, and this one a landslide. Patrick beating out the 3 candidates on the Republican ticket, taking home 80% of the votes. And let's take a look at the Democrat that Patrick will face in November. State Representative Vicki Goodwin from Austin, the front runner throughout the primary, securing 49% of tonight's votes, beating out Courtney Head and Marcus Velez.